Welcome to Christian Statesman. I'm your host, Zach Wagner, and this is episode 35, a modern take on idolatry. The first commandment of the biblical Ten Commandments reads, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. The traditional Christian view is that idolatry consists of setting up other gods before the true God, such as the worship of Moloch or Ra in ancient times. These were fictitious beings set up for mass worship, as if they had some effect on people and nations. But the idea of idol worship is far broader and arguably more dangerous today. The argument can be made that one's God is whatever one devotes the most time and filial attention to. This need not be some created entity that is sold to the people as a deified figure. It can be real occurrences on the ground that take and ascend to the status of worship among a broad enough section of the population. Today, we could classify a number of things as idol worship. The holding of political leaders is absolute, such as the status of the emperor in the turn of the century Japan, or the status attributed to Mao as he ascended to the office of supreme leader in China, or the current false accomplishments attached to Kim Jong-un which are propagated to the people. It can be the absolute dedication to statism over all else. It can be the devotion to an office, a career, or another type of worldly affiliation that takes precedence over all else. It can be the devotion to money and profit over all else. It can be the elevation of a religious figure such as the Pope or Dalai Lama to a strata above that of an inspired man. When it comes to our current state, it can be the holding of a president or other world leader in a regard that exceeds rationality. Either Donald Trump or Joe Biden, both men who can wield power, do not deserve this title of savior of anything. As we witness turmoil and intrigue deepen within the halls of our own legislatures, we might be tempted to turn to those in power and plead for deliverance. Let's be clear on this. Corrupt men cannot deliver us from our own corruption, and all mankind is corrupt to one extent or another. But fallible people who are moved upon by God can do almost anything the good Lord inspires them to do, as long as He backs it with divine assistance. This brings us full circle to the mandates of prayer and pleadings for heavenly deliverance. It is God either exercising His own divine authority openly or inspiring men to march to His orders that have any chance of saving a corrupt and dying nation. Anything more or less is simply a modern form of idolatry. Our political figures, our corporate leaders, the commanders of military only have dispensation to accomplish certain things through exercise of their own free will if God allows it. And God allows plenty of rope to hang ourselves with in order that His judgments will be just. The events of just the last century should provide clear illustration of the principle. There are many souls now committed to the eternities that probably wish they had chosen to follow a different inner voice, a more pure and righteous purpose. For example, there are numerous figures that led Germany in the Second World War that cannot say before the judgment bar of God, Wir hätten unsere Befehl. When one designated Führer orders genocide and underlings follow, they have succumbed to the worst form of idolatry. And so today, anyone that looks to Donald Trump to deliver us from the impending globalist nightmare of a Biden administration, and conversely, anyone who thinks the Biden-Harris ticket will spare them from the outright devastation wrought by Trump and his plebeians to restore peace and order to America, so-called, will be committing themselves to the most impotent brand of idolatry. The only coherent answer in such times where uncertainty and turmoil prevail, a time where information and disinformation are almost indistinguishable, is the Savior's mandate. Father, not my will, but thy will be done. We must clearly understand where to turn for our deliverance. We thank you for being with us today. Thank you for tuning in to Christian Statesman. Please click subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends. And as always, have a blessed day.